Hi friends, and welcome to Ouroboros Tarot. Today's pick a card reading is how do they see you and how do they see your connection. I do have an extension of this reading today, so if that's something you're interested in, please feel free to join the channel membership. I also have opened up my Etsy shop for a few days for personal readings, so if that's something you're interested in as well, the link is in the description box of this video. So I have 3 piles for you guys to choose from today. Pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Go ahead and pause this video if you need to. Take as much time as you need to find the pile that sits right with your energy, as well as with your person's, and I will see you in a minute. Hi pile 1. Today we are looking into how the person on your mind sees you as well as your connection. So how we're going to do this is we're going to look at oracles to see how they see you, to see how they see the connection. We'll pull tarot to look into what it is that they're feeling toward you, toward the connection currently. And then we'll pull some advice cards at the end. There is going to be an extension to this reading today, and in that extension we're going to be looking at what their intentions are toward the connection, as well as where this connection is headed based on current energies. So where the most likely direction this connection is headed. I also have my shop open for a few days, so if a private reading is something that you're interested in, please feel free to check that out before I close it down again. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right on into it. And I'm sorry if you can hear my dishwasher going right now. I can hear it, and I'm aware of it, so I'm sorry if you are too. So when it comes to how this person is viewing you, pile 1, we have the zebra, we have the gossip. The light attributes are awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. And the shadow attributes are thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. And we have the salmon with the keyword being journey. When it comes to how they are viewing the connection that the two of you share currently, we have Cohosh with the keyword being repel. We have the orphan, and we have number 36, the loner. The affirmation is, I enjoy being alone and getting in touch with my true feelings. Okay, so based on just these cards right here, I would say that this is definitely a connection that is in no contact. Or this is a connection where the person on your mind really is under the impression that this is a decision that you're going to be making for the two of you in the near future. When it comes to how this person is viewing you, I would say that if this connection has already reached a point where there is no contact, where there's been a separation of some kind, I get the feeling that for the majority of you, you were the one who chose this direction for the connection. And there could be a variety of different reasons for this, but from what I'm seeing here in terms of how this person is viewing you, it doesn't feel as though this person is placing blame on you or is viewing you in a very resentful light. If anything, this person thinks very, very highly of you, sees you in a very positive light, in a very mature light, and sees you as somebody who is really focused on doing what's best for yourself, but also for everyone involved. Like, you seem to be, from their perspective, you seem to be somebody who is very considerate of how your actions, how your words, what choices you make may affect others. You don't seem like a selfish person from their perspective, although they do see you as somebody who is willing to put themselves first when it comes to your own personal development, growth, expansion, evolution, etc. I get the feeling that this person sees you as somebody who needs some freedom for whatever reason, needs an opportunity to explore something beyond this connection or beyond what you're currently, the environment you're currently in. It seems like you're on a path of expansion. And with this, it seems that you're somebody who has inspired them in a lot of ways to perhaps think outside the box or view things differently than perhaps they have in the past. And it's all positive. And while there may be feelings here that are scary, especially with the orphan, there may be feelings here of like feeling abandoned or feeling as though this connection is one that they don't have any sort of energetic tie to at the moment. Like they feel very shut off to this connection. And that can be something that's really scary, but there's a part of them that looks to you and sees the perspective that you're in, the reasoning that you have, and is kind of accepting that for themselves as well. There's a state of acceptance here when it comes to where this connection currently is. And also I would say a state of deep love, an awareness of deep feelings here, all while accepting where things are at currently. They see this connection as one that's not meant to be for the time being. Whether or not this is a permanent ending, I don't necessarily see that here. I see somebody who is very much so focused on the present and recognizes that if this connection were to be in union currently, it wouldn't be of benefit to either one of you. Perhaps this is because it would be unhealthy. Perhaps it's because it would hold one or both of you back from reaching your full potential. But there's a sense or a state of acceptance that where this connection is currently is one that is actually protecting the both of you from something that's not meant to be at this moment. So let's go ahead and, if that resonates, let's go ahead and look into how this person is feeling. How is pile one's person currently feeling? What are their current feelings towards pile one? So we have the Eight of Wands. How is pile one's person currently feeling? We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Five of Wands. Okay, I'm actually going to lift these up a little bit so we have more space. One thing that came to mind immediately when this Three of Swords came out is that it's important to remember that acceptance does not mean accepting something for what it is not the same as saying that this person feels amazing or overjoyed or feels content with how things are. There's acceptance for where things are, but obviously with the Three of Swords here, there's also a deep sense of pain, a deep sense of loss. Why is the Eight of Wands here? We have the Six of Swords. Why is the Knight of Cups here? We have the Three of Pentacles. Why is the Three of Swords here? We have the Eight of Cups. And why is the Five of Wands here? We have the Two of Wands. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Two of Cups. There's a lot of love here. And I know I already mentioned it, but with the orphan card here, this was the card that originally was giving me this feeling of like a deep sense of love, a deep feeling of love for you. And this love that they have for you has not gone away. I think it's interesting that we have the Six of Swords here as well as the Cohosh, because this card is a representation of the Six of Swords. The keyword for the Cohosh is repel. And what this is indicating is that there are times in which denying something is in our best interest. And the Eight of Wands is a card of expansion, movement, forward movement. And there's this feeling that I'm getting of like, this person loves you enough to understand that they need to let you be free for a while. And there's a variety of reasons for this. This could be that this person, perhaps you've recognized that this person is not ready for the kind of commitment that you're looking for. Perhaps it's that you are not ready for the kind of commitment that this person is looking for, or there's something else on the horizon that's calling to you currently that requires your attention. There's so many ways to interpret this, but at the end of the day, the message that's coming through with the Eight of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Three of Swords, and the Eight of Cups is that at times, what's the most positive and most loving thing you can do for one another is allow yourselves to move through the heartbreak of letting one another go so that the two of you can reach your fullest potential. And regardless of what has transpired between the two of you, this person's feelings and the special place that you have in their heart has not changed. And I don't feel as though they feel like it's going to be changing anytime soon. Whatever has transpired between the two of you, whatever changes have been made, whatever paths the both of you have chosen, was not something that came easily for this person to do. There was this inner battle within them that I think they're still kind of processing or having within themselves when it comes to making the right choice. Yeah, with the Knight of Cups and the Three of Pentacles here, it feels like there's this recognition that the two of you, or at least this person, feels as though this is the best thing to do for the two of you to potentially have a chance at love or a chance at reconnecting, working on things in the future. There's still hope that this person has for something different, for a different path to open up for this connection to come back into union. And if that were the case, if this pathway were to open, it feels like this person would absolutely take it. But there's an undeniable truth that this person feels when it comes to acknowledging that now is not the time. There could have been a realization in some capacity for this connection where a truth came to light that has caused this connection to kind of go in two separate paths. But whatever the case may be, there's a message here of the time is not now. That's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and clarify with some oracles and see if anything else comes through. Shuffle one more time. How is this person currently feeling? How is pile one's person currently feeling about pile one? Okay, so we have the alchemy, we have the hold. How is pile one's person currently feeling? We have can't be caught. We have laughing and crying, and we have someone soon. Okay, so the message that came through immediately with this can't be caught card is that they are recognizing that if they were to kind of try to hold you down or deny you the space that you need or deny you the opportunities to make your dreams come true or deny you the opportunities that you need in order to listen to your intuition in whatever capacity that is, if they were to do that, they themselves would become a prison to you. And they don't want that. And I think vice versa as well. But there's this recognition here that like there is something beyond this connection, beyond themselves currently, that is very, very special and very sacred and deserves its time to shine. And I kind of feel like with these hands here, these green hands reaching for this star, it feels like they're recognizing that they themselves, or this connection on its own, is something that would really hinder this light from shining within you, or from the light being shown on whatever it is that needs to be shown. And again, like I think it's interesting that we have this card here with the heart, and then there's this eye within the heart that's crying, and then we have all of these eyes here with teardrops. And it feels like there's just a state of acceptance, of recognizing that this heartbreak isn't going to be for forever. However, there is this element that is showing up here, that this person is kind of showing in this spread, that is indicating that they are allowing themselves to mourn, all while still holding out hope for the future. And I see this hopeful feeling with someone soon. And with the hold, there's this person still feels very connected to you. Yeah, let's go ahead and get you guys some advice. That's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and pull some advice. And like I said, there's going to be an extension for this. But let's see, what advice is there for pile 1? We have, I celebrate all the greatness in my life. And we have, my greatest experience of freedom comes when I let go of what others think of me. That's really interesting because, again, there's this message of freedom, for one, of expansion. And I kind of feel like, obviously, take these as they resonate for you first and foremost, but the message that's coming through for me with this, I celebrate all the greatness in my life, is this message of you being on the right path, you having made the right decisions for yourself. When it comes to continuing on your journey in whatever way that sits for you. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys today, pile 1. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to read for you today. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to my channel. Or joining the channel membership for the extended reading today. There should be a link in the description box of this video for that. And hopefully I will see you in another video soon. Bye! Hi pile 2. Today's reading is looking into how the person on your mind sees you, as well as the connection. So these oracles here are going to represent just that, how they see you, how they see the connection. We'll also pull tarot to see what it is that the person on your mind is currently feeling. We'll have oracles, an oracle deck set to the side just in case we need clarification on anything. And there is going to be an extension to this reading today, so if that is something that you're interested in watching, please feel free to join the channel membership. There should be a link in the description box of this video for that. And in the extension, we're going to be looking into what your person's intentions are toward this connection, as well as where this connection is most likely headed based on current energies. And one more announcement, I am opening my shop this week, so if a personal reading is something that you're interested in, please feel free to check that out. So let's go ahead and get on into it, pile 2. So we are looking into how the person sees you, and the first card that we have is the elk. We also have the goddess. The light attribute is the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality, and the shadow attribute is exploitation of the female nature and form. We have the sardine with the keyword being betray, and we have the toad with the keyword being burst. When it comes to how they see your connection, we have the trout lily with the keyword being patience. We have the storm. We have number 51, the spectrum. The affirmation is, I root out and reject prejudice in myself and others. And we have the cattail with the keyword being build. Okay. Okay, so I feel like your person is seeing you as somebody who perhaps has been taken advantage of in the past. definitely with the sardine here, but also with this goddess energy. I think it's interesting that we have the goddess and the elk, because the elk represents like a fatherly type of energy. It's very masculine, and the goddess is a very, very feminine type of energy. And so with these two cards being here together, it feels like they see you as somebody who perhaps has had to rely solely on themselves for a very long time. And because of this, you've really developed a strong sense of self, a strong sense of what you stand for or what it is that you want, as well as a really strong ability to be independent, to take care of yourself, to meet your needs. But there's definitely an energy here of perhaps being hyper independent, or even perhaps you having some sort of trust issues when it comes to allowing yourself to be a part of a community, or allowing yourself to depend on others. They see you as somebody who is very much so capable of taking care of themselves, as well as somebody who would make, if not already is, an amazing friend, partner, lover, etc. I would say that this person thinks very highly of you, pile 2, and also sees you, at least from their perspective or from their understanding, they see you as somebody who's very complex. Like, they don't seem to be holding you in the vision of someone who perhaps they have like rose-colored glasses on and they're only choosing to see the good. It seems like this person feels as though they know a lot about you, or they want to know more about you. They want to know the shadow aspects just as much as they'd love to know the light within you. They want to know what makes you you, who you truly are. When it comes to how they see this connection, it's very beautiful. This cattail oracle is very similar to both the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. They see this connection as something that has a future. And they definitely want to build something with you. They definitely want a more committed connection of some kind, or they want to take your relationship to the next level, in whatever way that means for the two of you. However, at the same time, there's recognition here that there may be a lot of resistance on your end. And not only that, but I feel like perhaps this person as well has been betrayed in the past. And if that's the case, there are also trust issues on this person's end. And it feels like this person is seeing this connection for either you or both of you to really heal from the betrayals of the past, from other people. It feels like this connection is an opportunity for the two of you to build a sense of trust in one another. All while understanding that this is not something that can happen overnight. It's something that perhaps can feel very scary. The storm here is indicative of the Tower card, so there definitely is this cleansing, healing energy, but it can feel very chaotic, very sudden. It can feel very much so like it's out of your control, and those can be really, really scary feelings. And I think that there's acknowledgement here that this type of healing that has the potential to take place within this connection is not healing that is all rainbows and butterflies. It's stepping outside of one's comfort zone in order to challenge your own narrative, or challenge both of your narratives that the two of you have held on to in the past out of a self-protective measure that is not going to be serving either one of you in this connection. The trout lily, not only is it, the keyword is patience, but this card is also representative of community. And the reason why I say this is because for this particular plant, for trout lilies, it has a symbiotic relationship with the ants that surround it, in the sense that the ants eat some part of this trout lily in order to survive, And in turn, the ants then spread the trout lily seeds all throughout the area in order to maintain that sense of community. And in doing so, the ants are also protecting the trout lily from other pests coming in and consuming them, destroying them. So there's this element here within the trout lily that indicates a level of trust between two different people that takes time. And with the spectrum here, what this is telling me is that this person feels as though this connection is one that is challenging the preconceived judgments that one or both of you have placed on each other or on relationships in general, on vulnerability. It's challenging the two of you to look at things differently than perhaps you have in the past, and realize that perhaps some of the judgments that the two of you are making are no longer serving you. It seems like a very eye-opening connection from this person's end, and one that really can stand the test of time. This person sees a lot of potential for this connection. So if that resonates for you guys, let's go ahead and look into what this person's truest feelings are, how they're currently feeling. How does pile 2's person currently feel about pile 2? Okay, so we have the Chariot, we have the King of Wands, we have the Fool and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Why is the Chariot here, Spirit? Okay. So we have the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles. Why is the King of Wands here? We have the Page of Cups. Why is the Queen of Pentacles here? We have the Queen of Swords. And why is the Fool here? We have Justice. And then on the back of the deck, we have the Three of Swords. Very interesting. There's so much desire here, pile 2. That's like one of the big feelings that I'm getting, is that this person has a lot of desire for you. I think this person feels very attracted to you, but it goes beyond physical attraction, especially with this Page of Cups here. There are developing feelings here, very deep feelings that are being developed on this person's end. And there's so much desire. This person wants to come in with some sort of offer. They really want a start of some kind, an opportunity to build something with you. But it feels like they also feel very blocked off to this opportunity that they want to kind of explore. Like there are a lot of walls up on your end that they're trying to navigate around. But I don't see anything here indicating that this is causing them to feel hesitant, or that this is causing them to second guess their feelings. If anything, it feels like it's only like the feelings that they have for you are only growing deeper. So much so that at times there's concern here, I would say, with the Three of Swords. There's concern on their end that they may not be able to reach you as deeply as they would like to. And there's also concern that perhaps you could hurt them because of how deeply they feel for you. But there's a lot of trust here that this person is wanting to take. Like I'm hearing blind faith, and I'm hearing that, like the word trust, from this Fool and Justice card. And then if we look at both of these cards, we have the Fool and his eyes are closed, and then we have this Justice card and their eyes are closed, but their third eye is open. There's this higher calling, or this like intuitive feeling that this person feels when it comes to this connection. And there's this understanding that this person, regardless of what has happened in the past, feels as though they can trust you for whatever reason. It's a deep knowing within them. But I kind of get the feeling that they're not necessarily sure if you are on the same page as them when it comes to how deeply these feelings run. With the Queen of Pentacles here and the Queen of Swords, I get the feeling that this person is kind of sensing this energy from you, an energy that is much more logical and slow to progress, rather than one that is based. They don't feel as though you're necessarily in your heart space when it comes to how you approach them or connect with them. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Yeah, let's go ahead and get some more oracles and see if anything comes through that I missed. Is there anything that I missed? Let's see. We have Alchemy and the Hold. These two came out for pile 1 as well. We have In Between Worlds, and we have Can't Be Caught, which also came out in pile 1. Can't Be Caught did. And then we have number 78, Green. They feel like they're in limbo. In a sense, they understand that they cannot rush you or trap you in any sort of way. They understand that you need your time, and there's something very special, very magical that they're feeling about this connection, and it's causing them to, I think the feelings here are new or are something different than what it is that they have felt in the past for other connections, with other connections. And because of this, I think that this has kind of got some sort of hold on them, where they would really be disappointed in themselves if they were to walk away without knowing what could be. And because of this, it seems like they're willing to be patient. They're willing to stay in this land of like not necessarily knowing, of being in between the past and progressing into the future, while not necessarily being present. Like it feels like the past, whatever has happened for you or for this person in the past, is something that is still showing up in the present. It's still affecting the present for whatever reason. And this person feels that very, very strongly. But they also understand that there's so much potential here that it would be a disservice to not allow this potential the time and the space and the patience it needs in order for it to grow. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and get you guys some affirmations before we go into the extension. What affirmations are there for pile 2? What does pile 2 need to hear when it comes to this connection? What advice is there for pile 2? Okay, so we have, my kindness is a gift I bestow upon the world, and every cell in my body is conscious and communicates with each positive thought I have. The message that's coming through for me with this card in particular, what I'm seeing from this image is, it almost feels like a mirror to me, and the message that's coming through, and obviously take this as it resonates for you first and foremost, but the message that's coming through for me is that the kindness that you have found in yourself, the strength, the gentleness, the patience, the love that you have found within yourself, that you've been capable of giving to others, is also possible within others. It's also possible to receive this in return. And there's a message coming through here of encouragement to be aware of the narrative you tell yourself when it comes to what it is you deserve, what's going to happen. Obviously, there's a difference between your intuition speaking to you and your fears or your ego speaking to you. And that's important to point out, but that's the message that's coming through. So pile 2, if I don't see you in the extension, thank you so much for giving me this chance to read for you today. And hopefully I will have the chance to read for you in another video soon. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. So today's pick a card reading is looking into how the person on your mind sees you, as well as how they see the connection that the two of you share. So these oracles here represent the first part of this reading, how they see you and the connection. We'll also pull tarot to look into what their current feelings are toward you and the connection. There is going to be an extended reading today on this reading, and in that extension we're going to be looking into where this connection is headed, as well as what the person on your mind's intentions are when it comes to you and this connection. So one more announcement before we start. I also have my Etsy shop open for the next few days, so if a personal reading is something that you're interested in, please feel free to check that out. Okay, Pile 3. So when it comes to how your person is currently seeing you, we have the sea serpent, the networker. The light attributes are enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. And the shadow attributes are conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. We have the child eternal. The light attributes are determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes, and the shadow attributes are an inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. And we have the cheetah with the keyword being race. When it comes to how this person is viewing your connection, we have the marshmallow with the keyword being adversity. We have the ring. We have the desert. We also have Salal with the keyword being subdue. And we have number 3, the storyteller. The affirmation is, I have the right to speak because I listen when others speak. Okay. So how does this person see you, Pile 3? I get the feeling that this person sees you as someone who does not leave room for confusion. Like if you're wondering whether or not this person is clear or understanding when it comes to how you're feeling or what it is that you want, it seems as though you've made your point. The message has come across clearly and concisely for this person. They see you as somebody who knows what it is that they want, somebody who's very goal-oriented. And I would say for the majority of you, this person is recognizing that what you're focused on currently is this connection and how to move it along in the direction in which you want it to go. They don't feel as though they have to read between the lines when it comes to what it is that you want, how it is that you feel, what it is that you need. You're a very good communicator is the biggest thing that's coming through. And I have a feeling that for a lot of you, this is coming through because you may have had a conversation in the very recent past in which you expressed what it is that you need in order to continue working on this connection, or what it is that you're wanting in order to see whether or not you were on the same page as this person. It feels like there was a conversation that you guided in the recent past for a lot of you that has kind of cleared the air or opened up this person's eyes to what it is that you're looking for. I kind of get the feeling with this child eternal here that there may be, from their perspective, I think that with the light attributes, obviously there's this free-spiritedness about you, or this like liveliness about you that is very magnetizing, is really drawing them, or they're seeing other people be drawn in by this. But also with this shadow attribute here, I wonder if for some of you, your person feels as though perhaps you place a lot of emphasis or dependence or priority on your connections, and less so of like a priority on perhaps your own ability to make yourself feel secure. And keep in mind that this is from their perspective, and it's a very specific message. So if it's something that's not resonating, it's probably not your message. If there is like a little bit of feeling triggered, it would be worth exploring why that is something that is eliciting a response like that. However, what their perspective is does not mean that there's truth to it. So that's important to remember. But there's definitely an emphasis, regardless of whether or not it's in the shadow attributes of this child eternal. There's absolutely an emphasis that's being placed on this connection right now by you based on their perception of you. So with that being said, when it comes to how they see this connection, it feels as though they see this connection as one that has an opportunity for a very long future, one where there's the potential, if it's not already here, there's the potential for there to be a lot of deep love that obviously would transcend time. I would also say that for some of you, this person may feel as though this is a connection that has had past lives experienced or shared together. However, it feels like the potential is... It feels like with the desert here, as well as with adversity and as well as with subdue, it feels like this connection from their perspective may be at a crossroads where if they or you or the both of you do not choose to take this to the next level, there may not be much to hold on to after this. Like, it feels like the only route in which this connection can take is towards deepening that bond, deepening that emotional connection. And if that's not what the two of you choose, it would leave one or both of you yearning for more, not fulfilled. And I think that with this card here, the storyteller, there's definitely this recognition or acknowledgement on your person's end of seeing the way in which I feel as though for them, this connection feels like a mirror in a lot of ways, where they're realizing certain aspects about themselves. And it may be because they're seeing themselves within you. It could also be that they're realizing that there are wounds within them that, like, especially from their childhood, I would say, that may not necessarily have been acknowledged until recently, from having been in this connection. And I think vice versa as well. I think regardless of whether or not it's based on you or them or both of you, there's a healing energy here when it comes to standing up for what it is that you need, advocating for yourself, kind of being who perhaps you needed someone to be for you when you were unable to advocate for yourself in the past. There's a lot here indicating that this person sees this connection as one that is providing opportunities for the two of you to bask almost in the strengths and capabilities and lessons and wisdom that the two of you have gained from life. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and see how this person is feeling. Go ahead and we'll get it. How is pile 3's person feeling? So we have the Queen of Cups. We have the 5 of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Swords. How is pile 3's person currently feeling? We have the Devil. Why is the Queen of Cups here? We have the Lovers and Temperance. Why is the Five of Pentacles here? We have the Ace of Pentacles. Why is the Nine of Swords here? We have the Sun. And why is the Devil here? We have the Hermit. And on the back of the deck, we have the Empress. This is interesting. I mean, with the Sun here, this is a card indicative of inner child healing. So it's another message coming through, as well as with the Child Eternal and then the Storyteller. There's definitely a message here of like childhood wounds coming into play in some way, shape, or form. And it feels like this is something that's making them feel somewhat uncomfortable. I think that this person feels very anxious about this connection for whatever reason. I think for a lot of you, it feels like okay. There's a few things that I'm noticing. The first one is that with this Child Eternal card, if you look at these people who are flying over the garden, we have these sunflowers. And then if we look at this Sun card, we have sunflowers at the bottom of the image as well. And there's there's definitely a message here of like perhaps childhood wounds being something. And especially if these wounds are related to like a mother type figure, it feels like they're concerned that they might not necessarily be able to live up to the expectations that you have placed on them. And it's not because they don't want to, or it's not because they don't feel as though it would bring them joy to make you happy, but more so, I kind of get the feeling that some of the expectations that are being placed on them, or some of the expectations that they may be placing on you, are expectations that are rooted in dependency of some kind, are rooted in limiting beliefs that are kind of inhibiting personal freedom or stability or a groundedness within oneself. And there are certain things that cannot be found outside of yourself that perhaps this person is concerned you are searching for within them rather than within yourself. And I think that this person feels as though they may very well be in a place within this connection where it's now or never, and they feel as though if they don't partake in whatever this offer is, whatever this new opportunity is to move this connection forward, they're going to be rejected or left behind. But I think they feel as though there are other ways in which to achieve the goals that the two of you share for this connection that perhaps aren't being considered or haven't been considered. And this person has a lot of value that they're placing on this connection. It's not an issue or a matter of whether or not they care enough. Like if there's been an ultimatum placed on this connection by you, or perhaps by this person, there's this understanding or this realization that there's just so much concern here, because I feel like they feel as though there are other routes to go that could yield the same results. And if they were to force you into something or accept an ultimatum for what it is, the outcome wouldn't yield the results that were kind of being hoped for in this said ultimatum. I know that's a very specific message. But it feels like this person is recognizing that perhaps the two of you need to take a moment to step back in order to see things clearly. Because there is so much fertility and optimism that this person sees for this connection. Another thing that's kind of coming through, like the imagery that I'm picking up on with this Five of Pentacles, you know, it's raining in this image, and then the hearts with the eyes are crying, they're shedding tears, and it's above this Ace of Pentacles. It almost feels to me as though this rain, this heartache, whatever it is from the past that hasn't been resolved, is an opportunity for the two of you to come together and use these tears, use this release of the past as a way in which to create more fertility and a more fertile opportunity in the future. But it cannot be forced. Let's go ahead and that's the message that's coming through, but I just I don't know what's going on between the two of you. I want a little bit of clarity. Let's see if there's anything else. Is there anything that I've missed? What have I missed? We have love grows love. Yep, it's the same message of this Five of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles. I think that there is this concern within them, especially because we have this Nine of Swords. There's this concern within them that perhaps the two of you are trying to build something based on the fears you have when it comes to potentially being hurt, rather than trying to build something based on being vulnerable and open. And there's a really strong desire here to have an open-hearted connection with you that's built on trust and respect, and also like personal freedom, autonomy. Is there anything that I've missed when it comes to how this person feels? We have volcano. We have twin. Okay, and then we have body. Okay, and then on the back of the deck, your dreams are closer than you think. So I feel like one thing that I said a minute ago, now I can't remember, but I feel like I said that this is a connection that makes them feel as though there's a mirror that's being held up to them, and they're seeing themselves in you, and this is being confirmed with this twin card. I think that this person feels as though they have so much that they can learn from you, and they have so much that you can learn from them. That the two of you are very similar in a lot of ways, and potentially soulmates, potentially twin flames. There's a lot here acknowledging that there is a lot of intense emotions here. This person feels things very intensely for you. But there's this desire or acknowledgement with this that, and I think it's interesting that body has come out over the Hermit, because there's this desire to kind of go within And it's not necessarily to retreat or to reject or to run away from this connection, but it's to reflect on where perhaps they are falling short, or on where perhaps they need to make the best decision for themselves, for the health of everyone involved. Because there's something, they feel as though this is something really special. And if the two of you can navigate this the right way, from a place of love, from a place of gentleness, this person feels as though everything it is that they've been hoping for this connection and then more is possible. There's a lot of hope here. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and get you guys some affirmations before we move on into the extended. And like I said, in the extended, we're going to look at where your connection is headed, as well as what this person's intentions are. What advice is there for pile 3? The difficult relationships in my life are the perfect mirror for me to look more closely at my own behavior. Here it is again, this message of mirroring, of reflecting, of seeing something in another, and then being curious about why it elicits a certain response in you. Okay. And we have, let me be still today and listen to the truth in silence. Okay. Well, this is what I'm seeing for you guys today, pile 3. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to read for you. If I don't see you in the extended reading, hopefully I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.